We are talking about inbound versus outbound rule in a security group. Your server is live, but you're not able to get into the server. You're not able to access the services running in the server. So security group is the key. You have to define your security group rules so that only the right person or right user can get in the system or access the services they want. In this video, you're going to learn inbound and outbound rules for the security group, and security groups is your bodyguard. How they protect your EC2 instance, you're going to learn, and default behavior of the security group, the surprise that trips you up every beginners. At the end, you will understand the real keyword for the exam is stateful. This is a keyword applicable for security groups. If you're new here, I am Chris from iCloud Excel. I'm ex-Amazonian. I have spent over 23 years working in IT infrastructure and AWS cloud technologies, including over a decade in Silicon Valley, San Francisco, helping organizations to build solutions on AWS cloud. On this channel, I help you master on AWS cloud, DevOps, AI through simple explanations, real-world scenarios, and hands-on learning. Let's dive in. You launched a EC2 instance, and EC2 instance is like your nightclub, and security group you setting up for the EC2 instance is like your bouncer. The nightclub checks when people are coming in, but anyone can go out anytime. So security group works in the same way. When traffic comes in, then only it checks, otherwise all the traffics are allowed going out. That's the outbound rules are allowed, everything inbound rules are restricted. How it actually works, let's say you hosted a website and you want to add a inbound rule for HTTP port 80 from 0000/0 from anywhere in the internet. So once you allow that, from anywhere in the internet can access your website. Let's say you want to secure your HTTPS website, add inbound rule for HTTPS protocol on port 443. Once you define that, then only the users from HTTPS request can go and access this your website service. User wants to SSH to your system, you have to allow port 22 on a security group, then only you can get into the system or SSH into the system. But security group is a stateful behavior. Allow traffic in, but the return trip is automatic. So it remembers the incoming traffic and records everything so that when outgoing traffic is automatically taken care. Let me demonstrate you inbound and outbound rule in a security group which is attached to a EC2 instance. So here I am on the console, and if I click EC2 instance, and running instance is only one I have, and let me make sure that this EC2 instance launched in a public subnet so that we can access it from my laptop or outside the internet. So this EC2 instance I selected. If I go to networking, and you see public IP is already assigned, and this is a subnet. I want to make sure this subnet is the public subnet. So if I click on the public subnet, this is a subnet I see, and what is the route included here? So this is a route table, and if I select this route table, now you see the routes here, click routes, you see the outside internet 0000 going via internet gateway. That means this is the public subnet. We made sure this is the public subnet and EC2 instance launched there. Now let me select that EC2 instance again and see what is that public IP. This is the public IP. Let me try to access or SSH to that instance, right? So clear the screen. So this is the public IP and try to SSH. Okay, it's not happening. All right, and let's go to a browser, open and try to access that web page as well, because the web server is hosted in that EC2 instance. So HTTP : then public IP, hit enter. No response. First thing we want to make sure we are able to do SSH. Okay, so let's go to the security here, click security. Now this is a security group attached, and you see the security group name is HTTPD website SC, whatever name I gave. So this tab is outbound rules. We are not changing any outbound rules. You see the outbound rules, everything is allowed. Okay, all protocols, all port range and type, all traffic and destination 0000 means internet, right? Everything is allowed, but we are going to see inbound traffic. There is no inbound traffic, so I have to edit it and add the rule for SSH. Okay, let's make sure we are able to do SSH. From where? From my IP. So I don't want to keep it wide open, just from my IP SSH. Save the rules. Now I'm gonna try again that same thing. Voila, we are able to do SSH on the instance. So host name, you see this is the host name 172.31.10, and if you do if config, so you see the IP assigned, this is the IP assigned, and LSBLK, these are the EBS volume is used for this operating system. All right, so we are able to do SSH. Now we want to make sure that HTTP, that web server, we are able to access. You see this site can't be reached, so something is there in the security group which we need to allow. So edit again. Now we added SSH already. I'm gonna add another rule, HTTP. All right, so HTTP, and from where? Again from my IP. I don't want to make it public. All right, so my IP. So if it is really a website, you have to do from everywhere, like 00000. Okay, all right, so now I allowed HTTP from my system. Port 80 is allowed. Let me open again. Okay, probably it's open already. All right, there you go. This website is responding now. So you see the request is HTTP, but if you try to access the same website HTTPS, right? No, it's again roaming and roaming. HTTPS, I want to take a new, oops, I have to take the public IP of that instance again. Oh, it's there in the terminal. I can copy it from here. This is the IP, and here I'm gonna HTTPS. Let's see whether it works or not. Nope, it's not working. So the web server is not HTTPS enabled. There is no certificate installed, only HTTP. That's why the HTTP is working, and HTTP also allowed. HTTP, there you go, web service is accessing. So we are able to access that web service. All right, this is how you change the inbound rule and outbound rule, and you see that only what is allowed, that only you are able to access. Everything else is implicit deny. The technical term is implicit deny. Everything else is denied. Only what you allow, you can allow to the server, and outgoing traffic, everything is allowed by default. So it take a record of that whatever incoming traffic is. Based on that, automatically by default security group allows the outgoing traffic, so it's automatically taken care. You don't have to do a thing. Let me go back to the presentation. So let's understand some real world use cases, like for Airbnb web servers. So Airbnb hosted their all the web services in EC2 instance, and user is not able to access, just maybe developer or internal user not able to access a website. So what you do, you allow HTTP or HTTPS port based on the web server configuration from the IP range. If it is an internal user, office IP range. If it is outside internet, just 0000/0. And if you consider fintech startup, like they have a database is critical for them, and internal developers and other team not able to access the database, or their application is not able to access the database, you go to the database security group and allow that port, the database MySQL. If it is a MySQL, then specific port is there. So specific port you allow based on the database. From, again, source would be your office IP or internal private IPs. And you're trying to build a career and build a project, or you want to showcase to the employer. You actually hosted a EC2 instance and you're trying to SSH to the instance, right? You have to allow SSH port in the security group, then only you can SSH to the instance, and then you install your application and play with it and create a project and showcase to your employer. These are very common use cases for that security group. Before we go any further, I want to tell you about something which is going to change how fast you can grow on AWS. I have built a private community called 10x AWS Builder, and it is not just another Facebook group or Discord server or WhatsApp group with a lot of noise. This is focused and professional community built specifically for people like you, people who are serious about building their AWS career, passing their certifications, getting hired or promoted to the next cloud role. Here is what you get: the moment you sign up. Weekly live Q&A calls. Ask me anything about AWS certifications, jobs. This will be live Q&A weekly sessions. I hold that Zoom call and you get answer instantly. And we can brainstorm as well on your problem. And you get direct mentorship. I will personally help you to build your learning roadmap, your certification path, fix your gaps, and keep you accountable for your goals. And I will guide you on this every step of the way. Third thing, you get 24/7 community access. At night 11 p.m. you got a questions, just post your questions. Our community never sleeps. Someone from your community member will answer it. And you get peer network of serious AWS learners. The people who join 10x AWS Builder, they are not here to watch passively. They are building, certifying, and landing cloud jobs. And that energy is contagious. Link in the description below. I will see you in the community. For the exam, remember, the allow rules only. Security groups has allow rules only. There is no deny rules. So only what you allow, it goes in, otherwise not. Trap number 2, it is a stateful. It is not a stateless. NACL is stateless. NACL, Network Access Control List, which is attached to the subnet, that is stateless. Stateless because you have to define inbound and outbound separately. Stateful, only you have to allow inbound, outbound is taken care. Then third trap is default behavior. So security groups default behavior is denied. Everything is denied. You just allow what you want. You wanted SSH, you allow it. You wanted HTTP, you allowed it, right? So you allow. Default behavior is everything denied. Trap number 4, multiple security groups. This is where game goes little better. So, you can attach multiple security groups. So it accumulates all the rules and apply it on your EC2 instance. It happens every day for a large project when you have a 10-15 team members working and they keep on attaching their security groups so that their application can access. So sometimes it gets messy, but try to keep the number of security group less. Before you go, I want you to remember 5 things. Inbound is traffic in, outbound is traffic out. Inbound, everything not allowed, is denied by default, right? Stateful, whatever you allowed, inbound rule, that automatically taken care when it goes to outbound. You don't have to have a separate rule for that. But if you are doing NACL, then you have to define inbound and outbound separately. Allow rules only. There is no deny rule. You have to allow only in that security group. Remember these key points. And you can define source from a reference security group. Let's say all the database systems has a specific security group and you want to allow from a particular application system. So what you do, you allow that security group itself. Automatically that security group attached to all the 100 systems, they will be able to access your system. So this is kind of next level of pro version of security group usage. So you allowing as a source from a security group itself, whatever security group attached to that instance, they will be able to access your system. So recap: inbound rules, outbound rules, and stateful. This is the 3 keyword you have to remember. Visually, I wanted to show you security groups, NACL left side instance level and NACL is a subnet level. Security groups allow only, NACL allow and deny both, because it's a stateless, and security group is stateful, right? And security group by default deny everything, but NACL by default allow everything, okay? But what you define slowly you define in the NACL. All right, so this is the key difference. And if you can visualize, inbound request comes and then security group recorded that session and then automatically return traffic goes based on the recording. So these are the reference for your exam or for your future reference. If you want to keep it, I'm gonna give a link below in the description so you can download this PowerPoint and refer it for your future. This is also another reference key informations you can remember or you can review for your work. So remember, lock your EC2 like a pro. Default is deny in, default is allow out. Okay, always stateful security group. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you get some idea about the security group, what inbound and outbound rule is, how you can handle it, and I have shown you the hands-on demonstration how you can define a security group rules so that you can have access SSH, HTTP, whatever you want. I will see you in the next piece.